What is going on, your average investor? Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Broadcom. Before we get into that, please click subscribe, please click like. Let's get this channel monetized so we can do more giveaways, help people out, and continue to teach people and your average investors what we think about the stock market. So today we're looking at Broadcom a little bit more in depth. Recent rise has been pretty interesting. Some analyst coverage by Christopher Rowland expects Broadcom's traditional chip business outside of AI to continue to improve, continue to boost price, continue to boost earnings. Rowland has reiterated a positive rating on Broadcom, reaffirms a price target of 200 ahead of the company's earnings report on September 5th, which is a nice juicy jump if we do get there. Up about 2% today, about $2.70. Looking at the chart over the last 6 months, they peaked about 182 and then have been pretty stagnant and just trading inside this trough right here. Might be a nice area for some covered call screening. Might take a look at that a little bit more in depth on the next video. But looking at it from a global standpoint, global semiconductor sales are expected to rise, and they have risen up to 51.3 billion in July. They expect it to continue to rise. I will link this so you guys can watch this video real time in the news or in the comments below. And so interesting statistics here. So we're up by 18.7% year over year, bringing in 51.3 billions. According to the Semiconductor Industry Association. Now, that to me seems a little bit off, just given some of the subsidies with the American market and how high that is. It is global, so it is kind of tough to take a big picture on where it's going to be used. However, we are starting to think that the AI bubble might be at the top. We might see some stuff coming down. So, looking back to Broadcom, we're noting that they're acknowledging a bottom out of its semiconductor core business, which includes both storage and traditional networking. Big change there. So their stock fell, about 3% to 157 early in the day. Looking back at where we're at now, we're at 155. This was yesterday. They dropped it from 150 to 157. So we look at the 5-day. They came down, quite a bit over the last couple of days. Looking though at this little bit of fall, 3% on Tuesday. Today we are up about 1.6%, so a net loss of about 1.4%. Not the end of the world, but Broadcom is kind of one of these leading players in the high-end application of specific integrated circuits for AI. So they're working hand in hand with companies like Google. They have a few under their belt. If you look at their 10K or 10Q, they kind of get into where their AI business model is driving towards. So, going back to Christopher Rowland's analyst report on this after we just reviewed it, he anticipates that there's going to be continued strength for Broadcom's AI business, primarily driven from positive demand signals from other chip companies like NVIDIA, Marvell, Arista. No Intel in there, interestingly enough. We just did a video on that one, so we covered that. And, Broadcom shares have risen roughly 42% this year. Let's go take a quick look at the year to date on this guy as to where we were in the 1 year. Yeah, about December of last year, we're at $90. So nice steady increase. It's outperformed the iShares Semiconductor ETF by about 15%. So it's doing some heavy lifting, and it's, as far as the NASDAQ composite 60% increase, it's doing nice there as well. Looking at it from a broad standpoint, if you look at some of the places like Tip Ranks or some of these other places that tend to either vote or take a general consensus as to where the stock's going and how it's going to do based off of both analyst and market sentiment, they're putting it as a strong buy with the average price target of about $196. So that's a 20% increase from the current price, 155, 156 where we're at. I'm relatively concerned with such a high price target. Don't think that it couldn't happen, but given the fact that a lot of people are concerned about the general AI bubble, can we get there? Might be a little bit tough to prove. Long-term investing though, their stock has increased by 2,000% over the last 10 years. So taking a look at something like that, it's, tough to not want to get into a position like this, even with the macroeconomic crisis, COVID-19 pandemic, 2022 interest rate hikes. These guys have done a phenomenal job. And they are just seeing such a strong demand for AI networking and semiconductor solutions in the data center market that probably not going anywhere anytime soon. So interesting stock to check out, something to think about. It is a little bit pricey for your average investor at $155 per share, but it might be something to get into just to take a look at. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, please click subscribe, help us monetize this channel, and let's get this thing to the next level so we can do more giveaways and we can keep your average investor informed. Thanks again. Take care.